Brooks and Filios, do we have any potential conflicts of interest? Hearing none. Any changes to the agenda? No? Okay. So our first item, and it's a potential action item with deliberations, case number VAR 19-0008, a request by Heatherly Living Trust for a 15-foot variance to the 25-foot front yard setback from East Hayden Lake Road and a 20-foot variance to the 25-foot rear yard setback from the real property line for construction of an accessory living unit, also referred to as an ALU, on 0.513 acre parcel of land in the restricted residential zone. So Vlad, will you be speaking to this?
Correct.
Go right ahead.
Good morning, Commissioners. For the record, Vlad Finkel with Kootenai County Community Development. I'm not going to repeat what you have just stated, Chairman, but I would like to add that the subject parcel of land it's a waterfront piece of property. It's bisected by Hayden Lake Road. There is an existing residence on the waterfront side, and the intent of this request is to construct an accessory living unit on the east side of East Hayden Lake Road. Said portion of the property is extremely steep. It's almost like a cliff. When staff met with the applicant for a pre-application meeting, we advised them that due to the historical concerns of slides and erosion and shift of soils in the area, we would highly recommend that they complete a geotechnical analysis for the assessment of feasibility to construct a residence, which they did. They did provide that, and we do have recommendations in that report that have been forwarded as conditions of approval, which the applicant nor the hearing examiner had any issue to. This request was heard by the hearing examiner on February 20th of this year, and we had a little opposition. However, the project moved forward with a recommendation for approval. The reason that this project is only being presented before you today is because there was an issue that was brought to staff's attention immediately following the hearing examiner's hearing. What staff was advised of is that based on a field work assessment of future development of this area, it was discovered that the adjoining parcel to the east of this site benefited with the location of a sewer distribution line in the proposed location of this structure. There was no easement in place, and the East Hayden Lake Sewer District was not aware that there was a line that they provided services to in this location. I immediately advised the applicant that based on the recent discovery, we could not move forward, even though we did have a recommendation from the hearing examiner. We could not move forward before you until this issue was settled, because regardless of whether you had a variance request or whether this was a building permit application, if they were able to comply with the setbacks, you couldn't construct this residence until this matter was resolved. So the applicant understood. What they advised me of is they would like to request that this project be placed on hold until they could get an agreement in place with their adjoining neighbor to move the line with an appropriate easement location, and the cost of those of the physical movement of this line and recorded easement be agreed to by both parties. And recently, as of last week, the applicant had submitted a recorded document that has been agreed upon by Heatherly's and their adjoining neighbor, and I'd like to read it into the record. The instrument number is 2763260000, and according to this document, the sewer line will be moved in order for the structure to be constructed in location with the proposed variances. That being said, we don't see there an issue with the applicant moving forward with your blessing to approve this request. I stand for any questions that you have.
Any questions for Vlad?
I just say good job in picking up on that and crafting a solution.
Vlad, what is the size of the structure?
I believe this is going to be, because this is going to be built into the hillside, it will have, it'll be 2 stories on the waterfront or facing the lake, and will be 1 story on the hillside. I believe, well, first of all, the structure cannot exceed 1,000 square feet or 50% of the,
Main residence, GLA?
correct. The structure will be, let me double check. I have a site plan, but I do not have the specific.
Okay, that's
I
fine.
do, I can't see it. I'm sorry, I'll have Director Callahan read it into the record. I can't see.
I want to say that I remember reading that it was 1,000 square feet.
Yeah, that's probably right.
Less than.
Less than 1,000
The
square.
numbers I'm seeing would add up to less than 1,000. It's just hard to tell on this drawing.
We do have a site plan. It's part of the record. It's available for your review unless you can
Okay.
see that.
The other question I have is that there were 3 opposing comments, and obviously the appellant reached an agreement with the neighbor. Would you happen to know if the other 2 comments are adjoining, negative comments, that is?
Yeah, I believe the concerns were raised by the adjoining property owner. And at the time when the HE hearing was conducted,
Yes.
the issue with the sewer line was not even discovered. So the main issue was the fact that I believe they're the Nisbets that own the property next door to the east, have a driveway in in proximity where the property line is with the Heatherleys. And the concern was that the excavation or any disturbance on Heatherley's property could potentially compromise their driveway. I'm not an expert, but based on the aerial photos and distances, it's more than 20 feet away from the property line, the common property line. And because of the rigorous, comprehensive geotech analysis that was conducted, we believe as long as they comply with those recommendations, build the retaining walls, build the stormwater features, I don't see that being an issue. Of course, there's never a guarantee, but that's the best we can do.
Okay, fine.
859 square feet.
859 square feet, okay. I guess final question, the closest point on the variance, is that is to say the reduction of 5 feet, is that to the structure or to the driveway?
That is to the structure. So the back of the house would be 5 feet from the property line.
Okay.
And the front of the house would be 10 feet from the edge of the prescriptive 50-foot wide East Hayden Lake right-of-way. And that's the way our code is written. We have different standards for various types of right-of-ways, whether it's a recorded right-of-way or whether it's a prescriptive right-of-way through a court adjudication.
Does anybody else have any questions? Motion?
I move that we approve case number VAR 19-0008, a request by Heatherly Living Trust with the conditions as recommended by the hearing examiner.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan,
Aye.
Chairman Philios,
Aye. And the motion is carried for case number VAR 19-0008. Thank you, folks. So that concludes the deliberations segment of our agenda this morning. Moving on to signings. So the first signing, these are action items, case number CUP, which stands for Conditional Use Permit, 19-0011, Poe Asphalt Paving, Inc., a request for the CUP for a restricted surface mine and asphalt batch plant on an approximately 93-acre site, 47 acres of which will be for the mine and asphalt batch plant. The board held deliberations on July 9th of 2020 and approved the request. Amy, please.
Thank you. Amy Hilland, planner for Kootenai County. For the record, pursuant to your direction, staff has prepared the order of decision for your review and signing.
Motion?
Thank you. I move that we execute the order of decision for case number CUP 19-0011 Poe Asphalt Paving, Inc.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye. And the motion is carried. Okay.
Somebody marked me as no.
You voted no on that one because I don't think you wanted it to come back to us in 90 days.
Oh, I'm ready.
But you can still sign.
Yeah, I'm ready to. It's okay. Thank you, Leslie.
Okay.
All right, next signing?
Next signing. Case number MSP 19-0007 Pinewood Estates, a request by Daum Construction LLC for preliminary approval of a major subdivision consisting of 12 residential lots on 62 acres across 4 existing parcels of land in the rural zone. Vlad, please.
Good morning once again, Vlad Finkel. The order has been prepared pursuant to your direction, and it's ready for your review and signing.
Motion?
I move that we execute the order of decision for case number MSP 19-0007 Pinewood Estates.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, and the motion is carried, executing the order of decision. Okay, then. So that concludes the signing section of our agenda this morning. Moving on to the business segment, community development updates, one and only item, authorization to quitclaim property adjacent to Highway 95 near Garwood to Kenneth and Wendy Ela, and that's a potential action item. Director Callahan, please.
Good morning, Commissioners. On the screen to your left is a letter from Peter Smith to Pat Braden, and it outlines the particulars of this case, which are essentially that the county has land that really ought to have been transferred to the ELAs already, and it would facilitate the Idaho Department of Transportation widening the road. Pat's looked into it. I'll put words in his mouth for a moment and see if he confirms that he believes he can properly and should properly convey this on behalf of the county to the ELAs, but we need your consent to do so. Pat, does that about sum it up?
Pat, did you hear?
Did you hear,
Did you
David?
hear David?
Yeah, I heard enough of it to go ahead and respond. I do agree that I think a quick claim to the ELAs would be in order here, and it would save them from having to file a quiet title claim in court, and it would save ITD a lot of hassle too. Apparently, it was conveyed to the county back in 1914 to use as a county road. And then in 1943, the county conveyed it to the state, but the state contends that the county only granted them an easement. So that's where the title glitch comes in. And it's never been used as a county road, and I don't think ever will be. I mean, there'll be a road going through there that ITD will build as an access road for Highway 95, essentially an extension of Government Way. And so I would recommend that we go ahead and authorize the drafting and of a quit claim deed to grant it back to the ELAs, and then once that's done, that would come back to you for approval of business meeting.
Okay. Any questions? I noticed the misspelling of Kootenai.
Yes.
We occasionally have cooties, but I don't think we need to note that. Okay, motion.
I move that we authorize the drafting of the quitclaim deed to the ELAs. Is that sufficient,
Okay,
Pat?
Pat was going to say something.
Is that okay, Pat?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Bueller.
Aye, and the motion is carried. Public comment. Hearing none. The time is now 9:18, and the meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.